Edge. Let's talk golf. It's the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN Chicago. Presented by the Glenview Park Golf Club. Now here are your hosts, Mike Gilligan and Tyler Rocky.
Good morning and welcome on into the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN Chicago. Usually with you every Saturday morning, but we are here today for this final round of the U.S. Open. And happy Father's Day to everyone out there as well. Happy Father's Day to you, Mike, as Mike Gilligan alongside Tyler Rocky. Casey Richards with us for this major Sunday as well. Good morning, gentlemen, and I guess the question on everyone's mind today is, can anyone track down Wyndham Clark with the giant lead that he has going into this final round today?
Well, good morning, guys, and good morning and happy Father's Day to everybody out there. I want to make sure I'm on. Am I on? Yeah, okay. So, no, you're right. It's going to be a day of days here. It is looking to either be the making of a colossal, boring day, or we're going to witness one of the most amazing feats in golf history. And it's going to be one of the two. And I guess that's what keeps us coming back to look at more, because otherwise, overall, this has been what I would consider a very unique and different type of U.S. Open on many, many different fronts, which I'm sure we're going to break down throughout the show. But otherwise, a lot of people would consider this a pretty boring one, and it could go down as an epically boring U.S. Open by certain standards or many average golf standards based on where we are, if he runs away with things. But that's a big if.
Yeah, I think what adds to the intrigue here is that, fortunately it's Scotty Scheffler who's in the chasing position. If it were anybody else, you might think that it would be a task too tall, but having the number one player in the world in, the final group with him, with a chance to make history in terms of earning the Grand Slam on Father's Day, on his 30th birthday, at least there's that narrative in the background that brings a little bit of intrigue going in versus if it was, really kind of anybody else, in the closest position to Wyndham.
Yep. So your leaderboard right now, Wyndham Clark, 7 under, which if you remember the last time the U.S. Open was held out at Shinnecock, 1 over won this thing, and you got Wyndham Clark way ahead of the rest of the pack here. Now, the rest of the scores kind of look a little more similar to that 1 over. You've got Scotty Scheffler, Sahith Theegala, Tom Kim, whose name we have not heard in a while.
That's
Tom
right.
Kim, by the way, and Sam Stevens, all at 1 under for the tournament, and then on their heels as well, Emiliano Grillo, Keith Mitchell, Sam Burns, Xander Schauffele, all at even par for the 3 days so far. Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, Matt Fitzpatrick at 1 over right now. They're all tied for 10th at the moment. So it's a pretty good leaderboard. I mean, you're talking about a lot of guys who have won majors before that are a part of this crop here. But it's almost weird, too, with how many guys missed the cut, too, that were among guys that, and we were talking about it before the show, but guys who are inside the top 5 once upon a time or inside the top 10 and then just ejected on Friday and found themselves on the outside looking in heading into today. They didn't even get a chance to get a crack at it on this Sunday.
No, and I believe it or not, there were guys that missed the cut that were literally atop the leaderboard, and they were up there for a decent amount of time, especially Thursday. And to your point, they hit the eject button at some point, or Shinnecock hit the eject button for them and presented just, challenges, and watching some of the world's greatest look literally like us out on the golf course. But when you have the likes of a Patrick Cantlay, a Cam Smith, Brooks Koepka, 73-77, the past champion. I mean, the guy I thought would do well, Patrick Reed.
And he started well.
And he did, And another guy that shocked me missing was Adam Scott. And the defending champion blowing up on the first day, firing 77, J.J. Spawn. So, there's just a list of guys that just, surprisingly are not, aren't anywhere near the leaderboard and not even here this weekend. But that goes to show you asked the question, what would be the biggest thing we would be talking about, and a lot of it was the golf course. And that has been the biggest subject because of how uniquely different Shinnecock is than any of the other open sites that they go to from, an agronomy perspective, and how then it translates to the field of play and what they do or don't do. But it's interesting what the USGA did to protect the golf course, and we haven't seen somebody this far under par as the leader this far into a tournament at Shinnecock in the history of that place. So today is going to be an interesting day on a variety of levels. Wyndham Clark could truly make amazing history and rebound from what was one of the worst moments of his life a year ago. But the odds makers are thinking like I am. And I still think Scotty's going to come back and reel him back in. Or Shinnecock's got to help, and then Scotty will do the rest. That's my thought.
Yeah, Tyler, you mentioned that last U.S. Open. Obviously, the big headlines that came out of there, Zach Johnson commenting that they lost the golf course, the Phil Mickelson situation where he was fed up and, hit his putt before it had even stopped rolling. So I think the USGA went in a little more conservative with the course preparation this year, and I think that kind of bore out on the first couple of days. You saw it be a little more gettable. I don't think they got quite the weather patterns and the wind patterns that they were expecting. But yesterday, the course really struck back. Only 2 under par rounds, one of which was Scotty Scheffler. And now it's the last round. Now they don't have to worry about, getting the course ready for the course of the next 4 days or anything along those lines. So, to Mike's point, they can push it as much as they want today and make sure that whoever is deemed the champion is certainly worthy.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun watch. And I think having Scotty in that final group today, too, which there were doubts of whether he was or was not going to be in the final group based off of how he was playing there down the stretch and how others were playing down the stretch, too. But having Scotty being the guy with Wyndham Clark in this final group is what makes it interesting because, listen, there's only one guy for Scotty to chase in this whole thing. And he's got that guy playing right beside him. He knows what he has to do. He has the scoreboard next to him the entire time. So I think having Scotty with Wyndham Clark, and we know how Wyndham Clark can be between the ears too at times, this could get interesting. Now, can Wyndham Clark, and again, this is what would make this so fascinating because I felt like every single day, Wyndham Clark goes 6 under on Thursday, right out of the gate. He's got a chance to go wire to wire for this thing. No one's really even been that close to him, frankly, throughout the course of these 4 days. But if this is the day that it all comes crashing back for him, let's say Scotty goes 3 under and Wyndham goes 4 over today, and Scotty Scheffler is your U.S. Open champion this year, my goodness, like we've seen Scotty with all of these different chase downs this year, and he hasn't really come out on top. He's had a lot of runner-up finishes. I think about the tournament he had with, obviously the Masters is the big one. He was 12 down and then worked his way all the way back and almost found himself in a playoff with Rory McIlroy. He had one with Matt Fitzpatrick that he chased him down, went to a playoff, ultimately lost in said playoff. But if this is the one that he does and executes the chase down on of Wyndham Clark, it's going to be pretty spectacular, especially given the way that the course is played, where it has not lent itself to very many low rounds so far.
And that's a great point. And I do think what John Bodenheimer and the USGA did was to protect the golf course and build it what he calls up in a crescendo, with today being the final. You could start to see the greens turning brown, maroon, different colors. They were burning them out because they didn't syringe yesterday. And this is a club that typically syringes their greens. And what I mean by syringe, they come out with a special nozzle and the hose. It's almost like when you go to the produce section at your grocery store and they have that little mist that they blow onto the broccoli. Not that you're big broccoli eaters, but that's exactly what they're doing to the Poa annua leaf of the grass. They're keeping it moist so it has some friction. But if that thing starts to stress and turns colors, it means that leaf is starting to kind of, curl up and protect itself. So now the putts are riding on the back end of that leaf, and it's like ice now. And that's what's going to start to happen as the day wears on, because we're in a area where it's pretty much a sandy base, and things can dry out so fast very fast, much faster than anything that we're used to around here, because it's, basically a layer of sand that they're basically building this golf course on. So as such, these conditions are going to only get tougher, and they're going to get tougher for the leader to stay the leader. But I still think there's enough of the golf course still left in there that's gettable for a guy like Scotty to basically do what he's been able to do, but get over the hump on his birthday, on Father's Day. This thing to me is set up for the ultimate story. But at the end of the day, I think the unsung hero walking away from this could in fact be Wyndham Clark, because I think Wyndham Clark handles the loss in the most classy way, learning what he has with his therapist over the year. I think he could actually come out of this winning back the general golfing public, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't rooting for him just because of what happened at Oakmont.
Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah, and so it's just an interesting day of storylines, and that's what's going to make today pretty special.
I think it's important to note, with Wyndham, obviously a past U.S. Open winner, but he went toe-to-toe with Scotty and Rory to close that out at LACC. He wasn't paired with them. He was paired with Ricky Fowler in the final group, but I think going into that final round, it was very bunched leaderboard, and everybody kind of assumed, all right, this is Rory's time or Scotty's time, or maybe even Ricky gets his first major, and then he was the one that came out on top out of all of them. So he's shown the ability to fend off the bigger name players in the past, and he obviously has a good pedigree himself. It's not like he, was someone who had to scratch and claw his way to the PGA Tour. Very acclaimed amateur career, at Oregon and everything along those lines. So, he's been in this position before, both in terms of closing out a U.S. Open and having to do so by going through the best players in the world. So, if he does falter, I don't think it's going to be because the moment is too bright for him or anything along those lines. It's just going to be because it's golf, and, he might have a few loose shots. Scotty could get hot, but I don't think it's going to be anything with his attitude or demeanor going in.
No, I'm with you there, Casey. And I think like Wyndham Clark, obviously a guy who's won this event before. And I feel like we almost forget about Wyndham Clark and that win at LACC, because it's starting to rack up some years since that happened. And B, kind of fell off the face of the earth. Well, I look at another guy who's in the top 10 right now who kind of had the same career arc, it felt like, was Matt Fitzpatrick. Right. He wins that U.S. Open, and then you don't really hear from him for a little bit. Sure, he's on Ryder Cup teams and stuff like that. He's still relevant in the sphere, but you never see him get back really in that winner's circle. Now, we've started to see it with Fitzpatrick a little bit more this year during the course of the PGA Tour season, and maybe we're going to see it again with Wyndham Clark here today.
It's funny you bring that up about L.A. Country Club, because L.A. Country Club didn't have a lot of people. It was really quiet. I think Shinnecock is the same way, and that's what's kind of, I think, good for Wyndham Clark as just a regular guy. But at the same time, when he won in 2023, that win helped elevate him, to your earlier point, to number 3 in the world in 2024. But since then, he fell to 75. And when he won the Open, he was number 32 in the world. Went to 3, has dropped to 75, and is currently sitting at 34 in the world as he sits here today. So today, big day, but he's got the one guy.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to have to try to win, your second U.S. Open, but you're going to have to go through the very, very best to do it. And it's going to be really cool to see how he handles it. If Scotty can just get a quick little start, put a little pressure, I just think there's going to be that ultimate crossroads, a fork in the road, where Wyndham gets him, out of position on the golf course, and for the first time doesn't execute it exactly the way it's gone so marvelously well thus far. But when he has that one hiccup, is he able to recoup, or do things start to unwind in a hurry on him? And then that's where Scotty's got him. And it would be just an amazing historical day if Scotty could come through, because now the comparison to Tiger is completely different. I mean, he's now starting to do things even Tiger didn't do.
Yeah. Speaking of Tiger, you guys remember the last time anyone went wire to wire at a U.S. Open? It wasn't Tiger, by the way. I will tell you that, but he's done it twice. Any guesses on that, though?
I do know, just because I happened to read it before, so I'll let the other two guys guess first.
Honorable man.
And and then we'll go.
Last wire, and he's done it twice.
Tiger's done it twice.
Tiger's done it twice.
But the last winner was not Tiger Woods. The last wire-to-wire winner at a U.S. Open. There's been, I believe, 9 all-time wire-to-wire winners.
Tyler, this is a golf course that I know you've played before and really like to go to.
Pinehurst. Okay.
That is correct. Pinehurst number 2.
Is it Payne Stewart? Oh, wait, no, you said
No.
Tiger has done it since, so last couple at Pinehurst. It wasn't Bryson
No.
last time. It was at Pinehurst. I'm trying to think of what.
I'll get like a little hint here. It's a name you'll know.
Martin
but
Keimer.
Yes, correct.
How about that?
Very nicely done.
God, there was a guy. Well, he's not a no name, but in comparison to the names you just bannered about, I don't know why that just came to me.
2014 at Pinehurst.
I haven't thought about Martin Keimer in
Since
probably
2014.
2014.
A couple of other notable names. Rory did it at Congressional in 2011. Tiger did it twice in 2000 and 2002 at Pebble and Bethpage.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
remember
so-
that 2014 U.S. Open. You know, personally, I started working at the CDGA in 2014. So
Okay.
that was my first U.S. Open, you know, working in the golf industry. Everybody was so excited to watch it. And then it was just, okay, that was a whole boring
Right.
tournament. So,
Yep.
yeah.
So we'll continue to break down Wyndham Clark versus Scotty Scheffler. Who do you got? 312-332-3776. And what do each guy need to do in order to end up victorious here on this Father's Day Sunday final round of the U.S. Open? We'll continue to dissect that matchup. We're going to talk with James Colgan live from Shinnecock a little bit later on in the show at 10 o'clock. So get his perspective on the golf course and everything else out there as well. We'll be right back here on the CDGA Golf Show, in this segment brought to you by Fox Bend Golf Course.
This is the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1100.3 HD2 and the ESPN Chicago app.
Village Links of Glen Ellen provides a country club experience at a public golf facility in Glen Ellen. With a top-rated 27-hole complex that's proudly hosted 48 PGA Tour and USGA qualifying events, Village Links is considered one of the premier golf courses in the Chicago area. Conveniently located near I-88 and 355. After your round, dine on the spectacular patio at Reserve 22 Restaurant, Bar, and Banquets, overlooking the pristine 18th green. Go to villagelinksgolf.com and get ready for a great round. See you at the links.
Play golf in Elgin. Check out the Golf Elgin app and book a tee time at Bowes Creek Country Club or the Highlands of Elgin. Bowes Creek Country Club offers the finest playing conditions and has tournaments open to the public. Experience Bowes Creek. BowesCreekCC.com.
Experience top courses managed by Kemper Sports. From North Shore classics like the Glen Club, Deer Path, and Winnetka. West suburban favorites like Bolingbrook, Cantini, and Village Greens of Woodridge. And Southside gems like Harborside International. Kemper Sports offers something for everyone with impeccable course conditions and top-notch hospitality for over 45 years. Kemper Sports creates lasting memories. Did you know Kemper Sports was also recently awarded as a top places to work by Cranes Chicago? Visit KemperSports.com or follow Kemper Sports on social media.
Golfers, go north to Wisconsin and experience the Club at Lac La Belle, voted a top 10 most fun golf course in the country by Golf Digest. The Club at Lac La Belle is now accepting tee times. Take advantage of same-day replay rates. The Club at Lac La Belle is at the heart of the Wisconsin Golf Trail, featuring a majestic, redesigned course and beautiful clubhouse. Schedule your tee time now at theclubatlaclabelle.com. A historic past meets a vibrant future. Go to theclubatlaclabelle.com to start your journey.
Experience the best golf on the North Shore. Head over to Glenview Park Golf Club. Book your tee time 24/7 at golfglenview.com or call 847-724-0250. golfglenview.com or 847-724-0250. Experience the best.
Break away to Kohler, just 2 hours north of Chicago, host of 6 majors and the Ryder Cup. Play 72 holes of championship golf at Whistling Straits and Black Wolf Run and the Baths. A 10-hole par 3. Experience the Kohler Waters Spa and explore hundreds of acres of outdoors. 2026 golf packages with 2 to 5 night accommodations are available to book now. Book early for best rates and availability. Call 855-718-3588 and reserve your custom stay today.
You know, they call me the good kid, but I'm not here just to be good, and I'm definitely not here to be average. When it comes to performance, I want to feel confident, ready, and know I'm bringing it every single time. And that's exactly why Blue Chew just raised the bar with Blue Chew Gold. This is a 4-in-1 formula designed to work on both your body and your mind. You get 2 proven ingredients that support blood flow, plus apomorphine and oxytocin to enhance arousal, desire, and connection. That means you're not just physically ready, you're mentally dialed in too. It dissolves right under your tongue and can start working in as little as 15 minutes. Less waiting, less worrying, more confidence. Ladies, if you're listening, send your man the link. Help him bring home the gold and make him a trophy husband. Oh, we've got a special deal for all of our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code ESPN. That's promo code ESPN. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring.
Hey guys, it's Sylvie. I went to Bullfrog Spa and I bought my first hot tub. I'm really impressed. My friends over there showed me the jetpack therapy system, and I love that you can customize your massage. If you're thinking about upgrading your space, you should check them out. Visit a Bullfrog Spa's factory store or go to bullfrogspas.com.
How's your golf game? Yeah, mine too, but more on that later. It's time for more golf talk on the CDGA Golf Show, your guide to golf around the world and in your neighborhood. The CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1000. Now here are your hosts, Mike Gilligan and Tyler Rocky.
Segment brought to you by Geneva National. Tyler Rocky alongside Mike Gilligan and Casey Richards on this Father's Day and this final round of the U.S. Open. Your leader right now, Wyndham Clark, way out ahead of the pack at 7 under. You know, it is an interesting crop in that group that's tied for second right now. You've got Scotty Scheffler, obviously big-time known commodity, number 1 in the world. But then you've got a bunch of guys who I feel like you haven't heard from a lot this year and looked like they were trending to be among the guys that you'd see around this orbit every single major. And that's Sahith Theegala and Tom Kim. Those are 2 guys who you go back 2 or 3 years and it looked like their career trajectory was on a rocket ship, that they were going to be among the top 10 players in the world every single year. And we haven't really seen them get to that point. And now we sit here on this Sunday final round of the U.S. Open, and they're in this thing, too. I know we want to talk about, like, Scotty Scheffler and can he track down Wyndham Clark, but, I mean, the way that Tom Kim has played and some of the rounds that Sahith Theegala has put together, they're just as capable of maybe tracking down Wyndham. Now, I don't know if they could catch Wyndham Clark at 7 under, but could they catch Wyndham Clark at 4 under or 3 under? Absolutely, I think.
Oh, yeah, and I also think that, you know, a guy like Tom Kim especially, this experience could be a huge step in the right direction for him in terms of the ascension of his career. We were watching how quickly, you got to remember how young this guy is. Yeah. He is extremely young.
Also his birthday today, by the way, as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Because that was the big thing.
Yeah, they do. They share their friends. Mm-hmm. They live close to each other and they have the same
Tom
birthday.
Kim and Scotty Scheffler. And there was a chance that they were going to be playing together on their birthdays as best friends on this final round. But Scotty going to be playing with Wyndham Clark today.
And to that point, I think it would have been good for Tom Kim to actually be in the frying pan with Scotty, because I think he would actually play better. He'd be more comfortable than I think playing in a position that he'll be in terms of chasing and not seeing what needs to happen in front of him. But I do think that where Tom Kim is now and how he is playing, and given, let's just say, he has a strong finish, I think this is a huge step for him, because I think as these guys mature, become successful, it's a whole new pattern of learning how to deal with it, dealing with all the new added opportunities, responsibilities, fulfillments, time, and just managing all that and still trying to keep that short game and that timing and all of it at a razor edge sharpness and not letting it dull in the very least. And I just think, you know, in the case of these two that we taking a look at, Sahith and Tom, you know, their edges dulled a little, I think, because they saw some newfound success. And, you know, with that success comes a little distraction. And I think this is all part of the maturation process of becoming a elite professional like a Scotty Scheffler.
Thigala, it's really been his putter that has let him down this weekend so far. He's been hitting the ball better than anybody. He leads the field in strokes gained tee to green up to this point, and it was really just a terrible first-round putting. He lost almost 3 strokes to the field, but he's been incrementally making his way back from that, and, you know, his swing obviously seems to be in good form, so if he can keep that consistent and maybe get a few putts to fall, he could be a guy that makes a run as well and seems to be in a prime position.
Yeah, and I mean, even thinking about some of the other rounds that we've seen put up so far today, you mentioned the putter letting down Sahith Theegala. I think the putters also let down Colin Morikawa too, and that's a guy who could very much be in this thing if it weren't for a couple of miscues that he had yesterday. He had some birdie opportunities that he let sit out there. It ends up going 3 over yesterday, but Colin Morikawa's got one of the lower rounds that we've seen. Xander Schauffele's got one of the lower rounds that we've seen, and it's funny because I felt like on Thursday and even to a degree on Friday, these greens were playing pretty easy. I mean, how many times did you see a ball that just kind of curled its way in? Any of those like 50-50 putts on the lips, it felt like they were all dropping. And they slowed the greens down because of what was expected with the wind. And it felt like these golfers really took advantage of it. And then yesterday, it felt like the carnage began, and when they started messing with the greens a little bit more, making them run a little faster yesterday, that's when you saw a little bit more carnage out there on the putting surfaces.
100%, and I think we're just going to see more of the same today. And no matter what happens, whether it's Tom Kim, Scotty Scheffler, Sahith Theegala, you know, they're going to need a little help from the golf course to affect, you know, Mr. Clark. If he can, you know, play one of her, like a Thursday type more round, less mistakes. But what I think I saw happening was a game that he was holding on to yesterday where I felt like Scotty was coming into his. And I just feel like I don't know that there's enough there for Wyndham to get through today without a big mistake or an unexpected turn of events, a lie or an otherwise, a bad bounce, and that's all it really takes. And things just have a quick way of changing under U.S. Open conditions.
Bit of a disappointing round from Xander Schauffele, who you mentioned yesterday. He seemed to be having himself in a great position, but I just kind of want to take a moment to shout out his U.S. Open track record, and I know everybody's aware of it, but when you look at kind of the year by year, first time he played in a major was just up the road at Erin Hills, 2017, U.S. Open there. And since then, he's played in the U.S. Open every year, 5th, 6th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 14th in 2022. Wow, bad one. 10th, 2023, 7th, 2024, 12th last year in 2025. So just a remarkable run of consistency considering that the event changes courses every year. But I think the U.S. Open, you know, obviously considered by many to be the toughest test in golf. So I think it says a lot about his, you know, overall quality as a player that he's able to perform so consistently in these types of events. So he comes into today 7 shots back, maybe a little bit of a bridge too far, but you know he's going to be lingering over the course of the day.
For sure. Yeah. And listen, some people may say everyone's playing for second today. And that may be the case. Like if Wyndham Clark has a red number next to his name, chances are he's walking away with this thing. I don't think anyone's catching him 6 strokes back if Wyndham Clark's going, even if shooting even par today. I don't know if anyone can catch him at 6 under. They're going to need a little bit of help from him giving some strokes back to the field, but Xander's one of those guys who certainly could be in it because he's got one of the lower rounds that we've seen in this tournament so far. But let's hit the phones, 312-332-3776. Wyndham, Scotty, or the field, who do you have today? Owen's in Willowbrook. What's going on, Owen?
Hey, guys, usually on a tournament, they say you can't win a tournament on the first day, but you can lose it. But in this instance, you know, the guys that went off first in the morning really experienced rough weather and windy weather, and it got really nice, and that's when Wyndham Clark made hay. And I think since then, most of the leaders up there, it's been pretty even. So I think if Wyndham Clark ends up shooting par golf, I think he runs away with it.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Owen. I don't think you're wrong either.
You know, and Owen brings up a good point, and this is a point I wanted to make earlier. You know, Wyndham was the golf gods were kind to him when he got the draw that he received. He had one of the more favorable draws out of anybody in the field. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were others that had about the same with him, sure, but they didn't make the opportunity like he did. So he is riding that first round. And to Owen's point, all he has to do is shoot par. He'll probably win. Easier said than done on Sunday of the U.S. Open when number one in the world is standing right next to you. It's a whole different deal. And the last thing Wyndham Clark took away when he walked off of 18 last night was a missed putt. And he's had to think about that.
Yeah.
He could have had a lead of 7 under. Think about that. And that shot is going to loom large. I guarantee it. And it will be interesting when it happens, because the only person to ever come back from a lead larger than 6 was 7 under, and that was Arnold Palmer in 1960 at Cherry Hills. And it was back then they played 36 holes on Sunday. And it was after the first round, and one of the reporters, I believe Bob Drum, upset him with some questions. And he told him right then and there, I'm going to drive the damn first green. And he sure did. He drove it on the first green, and the rest is history. And he came back and won. But 7 people have had a lead of 6 or more, and 7 have closed it. And that's a big responsibility looming on Wyndham Clark today, knowing the last thing he did was make bogey. And I just think there's that hangover coming with it. So we'll see.
Building off of Owen's point, if you look at, Wyndham's rounds, the 64 on Thursday, it was really a 5-hole stretch that he went 4 under in his 9th through 13th holes. He had started on the back, so numbers 18 through number 5. So, yeah, obviously that always plays such a big role in these majors, kind of the draw that you get and everything along those lines. And again, he's the one who best utilized the opportunity presented to him. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to look back at a different, timeline and say, hey, if things go slightly differently, maybe it's a much smaller lead. But, he certainly capitalized on the opportunity. Mike kind of alluded to it earlier. Ever since then, it seemed like much more, of a grind. I feel like on Friday, he was missing fairways. He really got a couple of breaks, kind of ending up in some trampled down areas on his back nine. And then, yesterday, as you alluded to, a lot of up and downs, a lot of grinding out pars, making, 8, 9, 10, 12 footers to save par. And that's just very taxing on anybody having to fight every single hole as opposed to just, green and regulation, easy 2-putt. So, yeah, it's been, an adventurous tournament for him so far, all things considered. I mean, obviously, again, in position to be a wire-to-wire winner, but it hasn't been super smooth out there the entire way, I guess. It's really been, kind of a hot start, and then he's been able to maintain from there.
All right, we'll continue to take your calls at 312-332-3776 if you want to weigh in on Wyndham, Scotty, or the field. And when we come back, we'll get through some of the missed cuts. And also, did we see a pairing yesterday that may be the future of golf? It was a very interesting one on the course yesterday that we'll discuss when we come back here. This segment has been brought to you by Geneva National.
This is the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1100.3 HD2 and the ESPN Chicago app.
Elevate your game and help open the game to others. With a CDGA membership, you become better through golf. As a member, you'll receive an official USGA handicap index to validate your game, plus exclusive member perks, special competitions, unforgettable excursions, and insider communications. Your membership can quickly pay for itself. Memberships fuel CDGA's Sunshine programs, expanding access to the game and ensuring it thrives for generations to come. Learn more about membership at cdga.org.
With Republic Bank of Chicago, you don't have to scramble to keep your business growing. Our commercial lending options will move your business from tee to green every time. Republic Bank of Chicago, banking beyond expectations.
Come to Cog Hill Golf and Country Club and experience truly legendary golf. Since 1927, Cog Hill has been the mecca for public golf in the Midwest. In addition to Dub's Dread, ranked the #1 course you can play in Illinois by Golf Digest, Cog Hill offers 3 other beautiful 18-hole layouts with price points for all types of golfers. Visit their state-of-the-art practice facility with top tracer technology on 42 driving range bays. Plus, they have 2 golf shops, a new club fitting room, and beautiful clubhouse and reception area. They serve great food, too. Visit coghillgolf.com.
Play golf in Elgin. Check out the Golf Elgin app and book a tee time at Bowes Creek Country Club or the Highlands of Elgin. Bowes Creek Country Club offers the finest playing conditions and has tournaments open to the public. Experience Bowes Creek. BowesCreekCC.com.
Injured after hours? Don't wait. The all-new IBJI Access app gives you immediate orthopedic help wherever you are, whenever you need it. With just a few quick steps, you can chat directly with an IBJI clinician. Tell us what happened, and our clinical team will review your information and respond as soon as possible. It's fast, it's easy, and it's for new and existing patients. Download the IBJI Access app today. Just search IBJI in the App Store.
Hey, Chicagoland, want to experience the best golf on the North Shore? Head over to Glenview Park Golf Club to enjoy superior golf course conditions, a challenging layout, and superior service. Conveniently located and easy to get to, Glenview Park is in the heart of Glenview. Book your tee time 24/7 at golfglenview.com or call 847-724-0250. Golfglenview.com or 847-724-0250. Experience the best.
Fox Bend Golf Course, the gem of the western suburbs. Voted a 5-star course by Chicagoland Golf Magazine. Come to Oswego Land, only 45 minutes from downtown, and play some of the most superb green complexes in the area. All skill levels are welcome to play this 6,900-yard par 72 course. Fox Bend Golf Course has hosted 3 Illinois Open championships, and this year they will host the 2026 Chicago Adaptive Open. Book a tee time today at foxbendgolfcourse.com.
Chicagoland's own Tour Edge Golf has launched their all-new Exotic Series drivers. They offer explosive distance driven by industry-leading MOI, guaranteeing more accuracy and confidence off the tee. Designed with full carbon construction and pyramid face technology to achieve maximum distance, power, and forgiveness. The low-spin Exotics LS, the ultra-forgiving Exotics Max, and the speed-inducing Exotics Light drivers deliver performance above all else. 3 distinct designs, 1 uncompromising Exotic standard. Learn more about the Exotic Series at touredge.com.
Need a haircut? With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when you're up next. Because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Welcome into the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1000. Presented by Glenview Park Golf Club. Here's your hosts, Mike Gilligan and Tyler Rocky.
This segment brought to you by Golf Elgin, home of Bowes Creek Country Club and the Highlands of Elgin. Number of players already off and running so far today. The low man for the round so far today, I don't know if you guys have checked the leaderboard at all, but Peter Uihlein is 4 under through 12. Now, that only is good enough to get him to 10 over for the tournament, but he is one of the hot starters today. Not a lot of low rounds out there on the course so far, just a few red numbers out there, but we'll be continuing to track it throughout as some of the big names won't be going off for another couple of hours here on this Father's Day Sunday final round of the U.S. Open. Wyndham Clark is your leader at 7 under. He's got a 6-stroke lead over a crop of Scotty Scheffler, Sahith Theegala, Tom Kim, and Sam Stevens. A couple guys that missed the cut that were a little surprising. Again, the cut line came in at 4 over, and on the outside looking in was Bryson DeChambeau, who was in the thick of things, but then goes 5 over on Friday. Victor Hovland tried to carve his way back in, but his Thursday just did him in a little too much. He missed the cut. Patrick Reed also among the big names that missed it. Shane Lowry, who a lot of people liked. It looked like John Rahm had a real chance to win this thing after Thursday.
That really kills
He
me.
was 2 under on Thursday on a course that was playing very difficult, and then ends up going 8 over, a 78 on Friday that completely takes him out of this thing. And he still almost made the cut with a 78, but I mean, he gets that thing down to 75 and he makes the cut pretty comfortably. Patrick Cantlay also missing the cut. But yeah, a number of big names that did not see the weekend here for this U.S. Open. Brooks Koepka, another one. Brooks was in the thick of it, and then he went 77 on Friday, and all of a sudden was no longer in the thick of it anymore.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rahm. That's the one that really was puzzling me because I really thought the way he got started, given the landscape of what's going on in his professional career with Liv and what's going on with Liv, I think these guys, DJ included, kind of came in here with a chip on their shoulder, showing that they wanted to come back. They want to show that they've still got the game to come back, whatever their path would be. But Jon Rahm, after Thursday, I thought, man, this could be the guy. Mm-hmm. But then, the guy misses 6 putts within 10 feet on Friday, and the double bogey at 16 was the killer. This is the same hole that might make Wyndham Clark be the U.S. Open champion yesterday after hitting one of the most incredible 3-woods you're going to ever see to 5 feet to make eagle. But yeah, that's the hole that really did Rahm in. If he makes par there, he makes the cut. And who knows what happens, because a guy like Jon Rahm could do just exactly what Scotty Scheffler's doing. But, you go 68, 78.
He's the only guy who went under par on Thursday that ended up missing the cut.
Yeah. That's just absolutely incredible. And, other guys that surprised me, Shane Lowry, he missed the cut. Patrick Cantley and, gosh, Ricky Fowler. So, but to me, Jon Rahm is the one that really stood out.
The defending champion as well, J.J. Spawn, missing the cut, not able to put 2 good rounds together. So, yeah, anytime you look at a major and see some of the guys who misses the cut, it really contextualizes the impressive nature of the guys who can put together made cuts consistently. Obviously, Tiger in his day, Scotty, because, we're talking about some of the best players in the world. They had a rough couple days or even just a rough one day, and, they're sent packing. So, certainly an accomplishment, anytime you can make a cut in a major and do so with consistency. Just wanted to take the opportunity to shout out a couple of the local guys who did qualify for the U.S. Open. Neither of them made the cut, but Brandon Holtz, who we got familiar with around the Masters after he won the U.S. Mid-Amateur. He also earned an exemption into this event. 76-74, so, solid rounds, I guess I would say. He finished tied with the likes of a Brooks Koepka, a Daniel Berger, a Harry Hall. So nothing to sneeze at from him in his second major appearance. And then Nick Hardy, former Illinois State Amateur Championship winner, Northbrook native, qualified for the event. He's done that numerous times dating back to his college career, really performs well in that longest day in golf situation. The
performs well at this event from time to time too.
Yeah, so he missed the cut 79-73, but good job by him to make it again. And yeah, he's had to have played in 7 or 8 U.S. Opens, I would think, at this point.
Did you see the picture of Brandon with all the other USGA champions in front of Shinnecock? They had a cool moment where they took the US Am, the US Open, and the Mid-Am, and there were 4 of them, and they all had their championship trophies. So it was really cool to see CDGA member.
That's right. Yeah, I talked with him just about a week ago. He actually played for the CDGA Radix Cup team in the event that we conduct every year with the IPGA. So that was last Thursday, and he was getting ready to fly out to Shinnecock, I think, on that Saturday. So just making the most of his opportunities that he earned by triumphing in Scottsdale.
And I think that's what makes our country's Open the most unique major of them all, where it can be that true Cinderella story. There is a path where, let's face it, there really isn't a path for you or me to go to Augusta.
Right.
I mean, not even getting a ticket for that. But, I mean, to play, there's still a chance you and we could go enter a local qualifier and make it.
Right.
Play 144 holes to win it. But, yeah, we would have to qualify, but there is that chance. And so to see guys living out their dream and being able to actually do this is just so cool. And to have somebody that was just at Oak Park Country Club competing just like he always does in the Radix Cup and other amateur events in Illinois, but then, oh, by the way, I'm going to go step on a stage that's slightly bigger than this. But yet he just seems to be a guy that's able to just understand where it all is, put it in perspective, and he's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
So
it is cool to see a lot of these guys too. And I got to say, some of the amateur performances that we're seeing this year, too, with all those big names that are missing and seeing some of the guys that are replacing some of them out there is pretty incredible. And particularly, we've seen one pairing today and yesterday. They played together both days, but the pairing of Jackson Colgan, who is a amateur, played at Auburn, and then Miles Russell, who is going to be, he's 17 years old,
right?
Who is going to be at Florida State, and how he qualified for this event was he did the longest day in golf, and who was on his bag? None other than Tiger's son, Charlie Woods, his future teammate at Florida State. So it is cool to see that, and you want to talk about two guys who may be among guys that we'll see in top 10s and probably win some of these big-time tournaments in the near future. It's Miles Russell and Jackson Colgan. And I know a lot of people have started to comp it to. There's this very famous baseball start. I got to pull up the exact specs on it. But there's this very famous start where you had two Hall of Famers get scratched. It was, let's see, Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux each got scratched from a September game. The two pitchers that ended up replacing them in that start were Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw. That ended up being like the next generation face of pitching.
That's amazing.
And they're saying, like, you got guys like Bryson and Brooks Koepka missing the cut, and these guys make it. And it could be you're going to see the next generation of guys that are among the best of the best in the sport, and they've been a pairing for the last 2 days now.
No doubt. And, you know, there's this new concept, relatively new, PGA University, which allows these collegiate players to be rewarded for exemplary play out on the NCAA level and grooming them to become touring pros, because these guys are walking right on to the stage and winning and, you know, ready to win. It's like they don't know any better. But what I was most impressed with is Miles, because like you said, he's 17, and I watched Golf's Longest Day and watched how he came out of that one qualifier with Charlie on his bag. What impressed me the most was his interview afterwards, how cool, calm, professional, polished he is already at 17. It's almost as if he's already been here. It felt like he was 27. And the way and the level to which these guys are playing all around the country at these national AGA type events, and it's just amazing. I can't remember a U.S. Open where we have 4 or 5 amateurs made the cut.
Yeah,
that's unreal. And Shinnecock, this isn't
of
like
all places.
Of all places, it's not like we're playing a 30 under disco. This is a hard golf course.
Exact same scores up to this point for the two of them as well, 72, 71, and then both shot 74 playing together yesterday, Colgan and Russell. You know, Colgan's been interesting to watch him progress. We've kind of become familiar with him for a few years now. He's played in numerous professional events, but, you know, due to different factors, like Mike mentioned, the PGA Tour University, NIL, he's been content to stay at Auburn, and it paid off for him this year, winning a national championship that had kind of eluded that program despite the success they've been having. But I believe this is his final amateur tournament before he officially turns pro moving forward. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how he progresses. And then, yeah, I'm sure Russell can learn a lot from playing with Colgan, knowing that he was in the same position as him about 4 or 5 years ago, and, you know, how to handle the college golf landscape while also utilizing the advantages put forth to you by way of sponsors exemptions and qualifying for professional tournaments and stuff like that. So definitely an interesting dynamic.
Yep, absolutely. All right, when we come back, we'll dive into what took place last week at the Chicago Adaptive Open and all the cool stories that came out of Fox Bend last week in the Chicago Adaptive Open. So we'll do that when we come back. The segment's been brought to you by Golf Elgin.
This is the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1100.3 HD2 and the ESPN Chicago app.
Like a good caddy, the Treasury Management team at Republic Bank of Chicago is ready to carry the load and provide the advice and solutions your business needs to succeed. Republic Bank of Chicago, banking beyond expectations.
Hey Chicagoland, it's time to tee up your next golf adventure with a trip to Tullymore Golf Resort, featuring 36 championship holes at 2 5-star rated golf courses. Spend more time on the course and less time in the car. Tullymore is just a quick 3.5-hour drive from the city. Enjoy an up-north golf experience without the drive at Tullymore Golf Resort. Experience a Michigan masterpiece. Start your trip with just a click at tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com.
Golf with the legends at Destination Geneva National in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Enjoy 54 holes designed by Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, and Lee Trevino. Stay right on the course in luxurious suites, group cottages, or the newly renovated and reimagined Lakeview rooms at the Lodge. Between rounds, savor on-site dining at the Hunt Club Steakhouse, Craft at Italia, and Turf Kitchen and Tap. Or unwind at Paloma Cantina, overlooking the dance floor, the entertainment-style putting course. Visit DestinationGN.com for details on Wisconsin's closest multi-course golf resort to the greater Chicagoland area.
Play their gear, dress the part, and shop like the pros at the PGA Tour Superstore. Now's the time to upgrade your game with new apparel and footwear to keep you looking fresh and the hottest clubs from all your favorite brands. Plus, dial in your game with the latest technology like rangefinders and launch monitors. Shop with the pros at one of PGA Tour Superstore's 5 Chicagoland locations: Downers Grove, Schaumburg, Orland Park, Vernon Hills, and Lincoln Park.
Experience the best golf on the North Shore. Head over to Glenview Park Golf Club. Book your tee time 24/7 at golfglenview.com or call 847-724-0250. golfglenview.com or 847-724-0250. Experience the best.
Village Links of Glen Ellen provides a country club experience at a public golf facility in Glen Ellen. With a top-rated 27-hole complex that's proudly hosted 48 PGA Tour and USGA qualifying events, Village Links is considered one of the premier golf courses in the Chicago area. Conveniently located near I-88 and 355. After your round, dine on the spectacular patio at Reserve 22 Restaurant, Bar, and Banquets, overlooking the pristine 18th green. Go to villagelinksgolf.com and get ready for a great round. See you at the links.
You know they call me the good kid, but I'm not here just to be good, and I'm definitely not here to be average. When it comes to performance, I want to feel confident, ready, and know I'm bringing it every single time. And that's exactly why Blue Chew just raised the bar with Blue Chew Gold. This is a 4-in-1 formula designed to work on both your body and your mind. You get 2 proven ingredients that support blood flow, plus apomorphine and oxytocin to enhance arousal, desire, and connection. That means you're not just physically ready, you're mentally dialed in too. It dissolves right under your tongue and can start working in as little as 15 minutes. Less waiting, less worrying, more confidence. Ladies, if you're listening, send your man the link. Help him bring home the gold and make him a trophy husband. Oh, we've got a special deal for all of our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code ESPN. That's promo code ESPN. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring.
Who is it? Postman Law, your injury and accident attorneys. Everybody's giving you less for more, not us. More fight for accident victims. No fee unless we win. Postman Law. We deliver. PostmanLaw.com. Attorney advertising.
From PGA to where you should play, this is the CDGA Golf Show with Mike Gilligan and Tyler Rocky, presented by Glenview Park Golf Club.
This segment brought to you by our friends over at Tour Edge. It's the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN Chicago, usually with you on Saturday mornings, 9 to 11 a.m. We're hanging out with you on this Sunday, this Father's Day Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Last week, the Chicago Adaptive Open took place out at Fox Bend, and it was a heck of an event once again. Well done to the CDGA and all the players who played in the event last, and of course the people out at Fox Bend Golf Course as well. Another successful event last week.
It really was. I'll tell you, it was one of the most challenging events that I've ever had to set up. And I've been involved in 10 PGAs, 5 Ryder Cup matches. The weather did not cooperate. You know, what people don't realize in and around our community, at least out in the Oswego western suburbs area, Fox Bend received 6 inches of rain since June 1. And this is up until like June 10th, because that storm that we had on the Thursday night we woke up to 4:45 with flag poles that were up with no flags on them, bent at 90-degree angles. So whether it called a microburst, a tornado, something severe came through, blew down TV towers. And so it was a week of a lot of frustration for the staff trying to set up, because there were times we'd set things up and we'd have to take it down for the storm and then reset it up. And then finally it got to a point where we had to get stuff set up and just ride the storm out. And when we woke up to the first day being Friday at 9 o'clock, we woke up to a golf course that was loaded with down trees, rivers that have come out of the banks. So we were able to play a double shotgun pro-am and start at 9 a.m. Bob Kolstad and his staff pulled off a semi and a half of tree branches, limbs, trunks. They chainsawed stuff apart, wood chipped it. They did an exemplary job of getting that golf course even playable. The golf professional told us, Lou Ramadani, he told us that the golf course was going to be closed when we arrived. But the superintendent said, as long as we can get over this one bridge to the other side of the course, we're going to play. And he did not want these athletes, these sponsors, all the people who had put so much effort and time into the planning to let it all go amiss. And I would tell you that 98% of the other clubs that you would go to would not have been able to react like Fox Bend did. So I truly have my hats off to these people, and to the 150 volunteers that we had, the innumerable amount of CDGA staff that came out and supported, because it's amazing once you have a gaggle of people what you can do. You could literally move mountains if you're all pulling the rope in the same direction. And we had to do that because what we essentially did is took Monday through Thursday setup and really let it all go till Friday morning. And we all arrived at, 4 something in the morning, and we were able to get it all up and ready. And then when the first round was started on Saturday morning, the golf course looked like there was never a branch or a limb or a leaf down. And it looked spectacular for the live stream that we did. And Casey was our executive producer, and he did a fantastic job broadcasting this thing all around the world. And I have to say the golf gods shined on us because they gave us quite an ending.
Yeah. So just to put a bow on what you were saying about the course and the job that Fox Bend did, I think it's important to add the context of this being adaptive golf. It adds more wear and tear to the course, even in the best of conditions.
That's
from the standpoint
of
carts rolling onto the green and just everything that comes with the circumstances these athletes, are faced with to play. So yeah, just second what Mike said in terms of an incredible job by the course, the staff to not only do the physical part to get it ready, but then to your point, just make the course available for these athletes, not really taking into account what's to come. But yeah, to Mike's point, great finish on Sunday. About a week ago is when the leaders were teeing off. And, this is a unique event in that, we do crown an overall champion. There's also an overall women's champion, an overall senior champion. And then, this year I think we had maybe about 15 or 16 different sports classification winners. That's broken down by the type of disabilities that the individuals have. So lots of great success stories over the course of the weekend. But the winner was JT. No, different JT. Jordan Thomas, a Nashville native, double leg amputee. At the age of 16, he lost both his legs in a boating accident. Was able to get prosthetics, and a great player. This was his first time playing in the event, and he really surged down the stretch with the birdie barrage and won the overall title. But part of what made the finish exciting was that again, lost his legs at the age of 16. Realized that it was very difficult to find the type of prosthetics that he would need in order to be able to still do athletic competitions and stuff like that. So he started a foundation, Jordan Thomas Foundation, that is dedicated to providing prosthesis for individuals who might not need them, might not have the resources to get them. And waiting behind the 18th green on Sunday as he finished was a young boy named Lucas, 7 years old, who was a beneficiary of Jordan's foundation, received a prosthetic leg through the work of the foundation. And they had a nice moment where Jordan gave him his ball afterwards and The individual's mother was there, and she said, I talked with her afterwards and said, like, we owe everything to Jordan for the quality of life that Lucas has up to this point. And it just so happens that I believe it was going to be this weekend. Jordan was going to be hosting sort of a retreat of sorts for all the recipients and beneficiaries of his foundation, and Lucas was going to be going down to Nashville to participate in that. So just a really nice way to kind of put a bow, on the weekend of competition, but just, 80 plus players in the field, every single one of them has a unique story to tell. And that's part of what makes the live stream so fun. And the way we kind of set it up is that on the first day, we show every single player's tee shot. And that way, the commentators, we had Dan Rohn, former WGN sportscaster, sort of lead it. And then Tim Merrick, another one of our CDGA staff members, supplemented. And they were really able to dive into some of the backstories and the, biographical information for these individuals and what makes them unique. So, yeah, it's the most, unique event that we put on over the course of the year for a variety of reasons, but also by far the most rewarding. And, I think we continue to get a lot of positive feedback from the players, from the community, and everybody. So,
yeah, and one other quick thought there, too, with Lucas. What really makes this job at times the greatest in the world to have is when you can truly make a difference in somebody's life. And 2 weeks prior to the event, I received a phone call, and it said spam risk. So I let it go to voicemail. But then I listened to the voicemail, and it was Lucas's father, Randy, asking me if this would be an appropriate event to bring Lucas to. Now, I didn't know these people from Adam, and I got to meet him during the weekend. And when we first met on Saturday, I invited him to come back on Sunday, not knowing that they even knew who Jordan Thomas was. And they didn't know Jordan Thomas was even in the event because Jordan had played the front nine first and finished on the back nine first and finished on the front nine, and they were at 18. It wasn't until they got home when Mom was so blown away. She was emotional because she didn't realize that there were events like this. So that gave her a whole newfound hope for her son, and her son was just enamored with the entire thing. He didn't want to leave. And so when she explained how much of a difference this guy made in their life when I met with them on Sunday, it was like a Hollywood ending when he picked them up at 18 and hugged them and recognized them in a crowd of like 100 plus people. And it was interesting. And to Casey's point, Jordan is just amazing, man. I think he's like 35, 37 years old now, but I think he helped out 35 kids last year, if I'm not mistaken, with the prosthetics, and they're all coming to Nashville for a retreat. So to just be a small part of that is an absolute honor, and it really hopefully speaks back to all the people involved as to why we do this.
Yeah, awesome stuff, and looking forward to the next Chicago Adaptive Open with the CDGA, Illinois Bone and Joint, and all the other great people that help put that event on. All right, when we come back, we will be joined by James Colgan, golf.com, get you the latest on what's taking place out at Shinnecock today. This segment's been brought to you by Tour Edge.
More golf ahead. The CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1000, presented by Glenview Park Golf Club.
Hey, Chicago golfers, experience pure golfing enjoyment at Fox Bend Golf Course. Fox Bend Golf Course offers playing conditions and the amenities of a traditional private club, but is open to the public and just 45 minutes from downtown. Visit foxbendgolfcourse.com.
Need a mulligan in your current banking relationship? Tee it high and let it fly with Republic Bank of Chicago's business banking solutions. Driving Chicago business for more than 60 years. Republic Bank of Chicago, banking beyond expectations.
Play golf at Elgin. Check out the Golf Elgin app and book a tee time at Bowes Creek Country Club or the Highlands of Elgin. Your outing could not be better than at the Highlands of Elgin. The Grumpy Goat Tavern is a great place to finish your golf get-together as well. Check them out at highlandsofelgin.com or grumpygoattavern.net.
Tour Edge Golf introduces the all-new Exotic Series drivers, built with full carbon construction and pyramid-based technology. The low-spin Exotics LS, ultra-forgiving Exotics Max, and the speed-boosting Exotics Lite deliver performance above all else. Learn more at touredge.com.
Come to Cog Hill Golf and Country Club and experience truly legendary golf. Since 1927, Cog Hill has been the mecca for public golf in the Midwest. In addition to Dubs Dread, ranked the #1 course you can play in Illinois by Golf Digest, Cog Hill offers 3 other beautiful 18-hole layouts with price points for all types of golfers. Visit their state-of-the-art practice facility with top tracer technology on 42 driving range bays. Plus, they have 2 golf shops, a new club fitting room, and beautiful clubhouse and reception area. They serve great food, too. Visit coghillgolf.com. When it comes to my ride, I don't mess around. Advantage Chevrolet. 3 locations, Chicagoland's covered. You want a Chevy? They've got it. You want savings? Oh, yeah. Most important, trust. No runaround. They shoot you straight. Advantage Chevrolet Bolingbrook. Together, let's drive.
This is ESPN Chicago, WNVP, WTBC, HD2 Chicago, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Golf is on your mind and on the air. Right now, this is the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1000, 100.3 HD2, and the ESPN Chicago app. Presented by Glenview Park Golf Club.
CDGA Golf Show with you on this final round of the U.S. Open Sunday. Tyler Aki, Mike Gilligan, Casey Richards with you. Let's head on out now to the Jersey Mike's hotline. Jersey Mike's a sub above, where we find our friend James Colgan, golf.com. You can catch all of his stuff on social media as well. James, thanks so much for joining us today as you're making your way out to Shinnecock today. Just when you've seen everything from the U.S. Open and you're making the trek out there right now, I think one of the big storylines from this entire tournament, James, really has been the struggles of people getting out to Shinnecock. So can you just kind of detail for us what that experience is like for those who maybe aren't familiar with the area?
Oh, my goodness. Well, let me tell you, as a self-respecting Long Islander, I'm from significantly further west than this golf tournament is being held. You know, the Hamptons are a hideaway for not exactly my kind of golf foursome pairings. So I have been making it out here and really kind of exposing myself to the experience that is really planned. Stretch of highways and areas to drive in this part of the country. I mean, effectively, highway.
Yeah, we'll get James on hold and try to reestablish connection there. But yeah, that's been another thing. We haven't really discussed much of it, but you watch some of these big majors, and it is jam-packed, shoulder to shoulder behind all these ropes. But that has not been the case out for this U.S. Open this year.
No, and I mean, if you're a potential spectator thinking about going out, I would think about going, because
you probably should have left an hour ago too.
Maybe that's true, but it's just simply not an easy place to get to. And from what everybody was saying, everything is so expensive, whether it's hotel, the bed and breakfast, renting houses, B&Bs, whatever it is. The lack of people, to me, it makes it feel a little less than. I just, when you have those U.S. Open roars, and it seems to be missing something, and it's just not the Shinnecock I expected, either from the scores, the way the course is played, from an agronomy perspective, but also I was surprised that the amount of spectators is as few as it is, and maybe this is the first sign that maybe they've had enough golf in that region for a while. Yeah. Bring it to Chicago, please.
So we got James back with us here, James Colgan, golf.com. What's been the vibe out at Shinnecock, James? Because we were just talking about some of the thin crowds that have been out there. Has it had that traditional U.S. Open feel?
I would say in terms of the golf course, absolutely yes. But in terms of the experience, the noise, the excitement, the energy, I think we've been really severely lacking to those ends throughout the week here. And, I was talking about this yesterday. I mean, I am from this area, so I know what time the sun generally tends to set. And I also know what it's like to commute into this golf course, which is a headache at the very best. And in the process of going through the tee times yesterday, they said it was going to be 4 p.m. when the leaders were going off. And I was concerned they weren't going to be able to finish the round of golf based on the speed that guys were playing at. So it's just totally insane. And the way that these things have been going, it's just a really, really bizarre situation as far as how they've timed out the golf tournament this week. But it's made it so that when the players and the fans are coming out here to see the best golfers, they're leaving at 3 and 4 p.m. They're not sticking around until 8 or 9 when the leaders are coming down the stretch.
So, James, knowing that is the case, and it'll probably be somewhat of the same even today, maybe not quite to the extent we saw yesterday, but does that type of environment mirroring a little like LA Country Club favor Wyndham in a case like this? And are we getting prepared for the ultimate Father's Day nap in terms of that? Or do you think Scotty's going to have a chance?
Well, I think it's an interesting question, right? Because we saw Wyndham win at LACC in a very similarly kind of laid back, quiet, sleepy vibe on Sunday at the U.S. Open. And I'm not sure that there's going to be enough people in attendance today for that to really change from that experience in LA a couple of years ago. But at the same time, I do think that the competitive situation that Wyndham is in is completely different from where he was a couple of years ago. I mean, entering on Sunday with such a big lead, even if he's starting 2 hours earlier and the fans are, more likely to be around because it's the final round of the U.S. Open and they're going to be able to see the winner, even if all of that is true, I still think that this is a situation where, it's just a very different vibe with the lead that he has, what he's built out for himself. And I think that it's going to be an interesting challenge for him.
James, we've spent a lot of time talking about Wyndham, Scotty, some of the other big names near the top of the leaderboard. One individual we haven't brought up yet is Harry Higgs, and he had a disappointing third round yesterday, but I know you had a lot of good content and conversations with him after he found himself near the top of the leaderboard following Friday's action. So can you just share a little bit of context as to, the journey that, kind of a fan favorite has taken to get to this point and what you've been able to glean from his performance so far this weekend?
Absolutely, yeah. I ran into Harry Higgs for the first time on Friday afternoon. I just happened to run into some friends on the golf course, so we went up and sat near the 11th hole, which is this remarkable par 3. It's a tiny little golf hole. There's like 2 feet of area that you can actually land a ball, and it can stay on the green. And I was curious to maybe write a story about how this hole is kind of like a hall of nightmares for so many of the best players in the sport. And then I show up and see that Harry Higgs is the guy standing on the tee. He's had a couple birdies in a row. He's, riding high. And then he proceeds to hit the tee shot that nobody wants to hit on the 11th, which is long and left. He was in hell. I had seen someone on 2 groups earlier, had hit to the exact same spot, and he needed 3 shots just to get his ball onto the green. So I kind of sit forward in my seat because I'm like, all right, this might be some excitement here. We might have something interesting going on. I'm thinking I might see Harry Higgs, make a 10 on this hole. And he proceeds to pull his putter out, hit one of the most impressive shots I've seen all week at the U.S. Open, maybe all year in golf. And he drains the birdie from probably 30 yards away from off the green to get another birdie and to put himself further up the leaderboard. And I just saw the energy he had, and I was like, man, I got to talk to this guy. So I hop into the press center afterward, and I'm not really sure what to expect. I know Harry's a bit of a funny guy. I've interacted with him a few times before, but I've never seen him in quite this environment. And he sits down in front of the whole group and proceeds to tell us all that, basically, despite all evidence to the contrary, despite the fact that he nearly quit golf in the middle of his final qualifying round at the U.S. Open 1 week earlier, he says, I decided I'm going to choose confidence this week. No matter what happens, no matter what I do, I'm going to hold my head high. I'm going to put my shoulders back, and I'm going to believe that I can stand with these guys. I'm going to believe that I belong. And I just thought that was such an amazing story. I mean, something I love about golf is it's the most human sport. You just see and you have access to so many things that you just don't see in the rest of the sports world, because athletes aren't forced to be as vulnerable as they are in golf, where it's all alone. You're standing in the fairway. It's you and the ball against yourself. And we got to see a real glimpse into that for a player who has lived on a few different sides of the competitive experience in pro golf. I mean, he's not even a PGA Tour player right now. He made his first cut on the PGA Tour on Friday at the U.S. Open. I just thought it was a remarkable moment and a really incredible story. Harry Higgs earned himself a fan on Friday with the way he handled that stuff.
Yeah, Harry Higgs, I know, one of the beloved players on the tour. James Colgan with us here, golf.com on the Jersey Mike's hotline. Jersey Mike's a sub above. So speaking of another great story, it is your leader, and it is Wyndham Clark. And just the 12-month transformation that we've seen from a year ago, a guy who shredded up the Oakmont clubhouse, to now all of a sudden with a 6-stroke lead heading into this final round here. What have you seen from the transformation of Wyndham Clark, not just on the golf course, but also off the golf course as well?
Well, Tyler, I'm going to push back against the suggestion that we have witnessed transformation of any kind from Wyndham Clark. This is something as I was thinking about hopping on the phone with you guys, I was trying to think of what a good Chicago sports comparison would be for Wyndham Clark. And I realized that there's a perfect analog for it, and it's Caleb Williams. The reason why is because we have seen this guy who has such enormous talent, right? He has incredible ability, and there is no doubting that Wyndham Clark has a remarkable skill set. His very best is up there with the very best in the world, and that's not something you can say about a lot of players on tour. But at the same time, the story of Wyndham Clark's career to this point has been really pretty remarkable volatility. He has oscillated between these incredible highs and these incredible lows. And the question for all of us is much like the question facing Bears fans right now with Caleb, which is are these highs a sign that he is an elite player ascending to be, one of the greats in the sport? Or is the volatility the point? And I think when it comes to Wyndham Clark, at least, I think the volatility is the point. I think he is just an extremely volatile player. I think at the highs, he can be a guy who wins multiple major championships, but at the lows, he can be someone who, a year ago, I was fairly convinced he was not going to be playing professional golf in 2 more years. And so the fact that he is, back in this position, he's got a vice grip on the U.S. Open, and he's one final round away from really cementing himself as one of the better players of this modern era in the sport. It's a pretty incredible story. And I guess, from your perspective, I guess the Bears can only hope at least as many championships as Wyndham Clark appears on the brink of here.
James, the U.S. Opens do have a tendency to bring that side of people's personality out. And I think we saw it again this week with Joaquin Niemann and the USGA's misconduct policy going into effect for the first time. Like I said, U.S. Opens, you'll see about anything. What was the vibe when all that went down? Because I kind of got the feeling that this may not have been the first time Joaquin's ever done that. It's just that nobody sees it on Live, and they control the narrative of what is seen and what's broadcast. So what did the other PGA Tour non-Live players feel about that kind of behavior when that came about?
Well, I think the issue is broader than Joaquin Niemann, if I'm being honest. I witnessed everything that happened with Joaquin the other day. I saw the way that his team then proceeded to treat the reporter, Gabby Herzig, who was responsible for, frankly, just reporting the information of what had happened on the golf course. And it struck me that, perhaps the biggest export we've gotten from the Live era in golf has been just a generation of cowardice in the sport, because there is just so much complaining and whining, particularly among that group. And I really don't know why it is, but there's just an incredible level of aggrievedness among that entire collection of professional golfers right now. And I know things aren't going well for their home tour. And I know that, the U.S. Open is a significantly harder test than what they're used to seeing week in and week out on that tour. But frankly, this behavior is just, it's pathetic to watch. And forget about just Joaquin's absolute meltdown, on the hole the other day as he made a septuple bogey. I mean, there's just a broader energy, I think, coming from a lot of the players who have been on LIV around, like, I think it's like a feeling of entitlement. Maybe it's a feeling of insecurity. I'm not exactly sure where it comes from. But as I was watching all of that stuff, and frankly, as I was talking to some players about their own interpretation of just the conduct that we've seen from some of these players. I mean, you guys might remember at the Masters earlier this year, we saw Sergio Garcia have a very similar meltdown and very similarly get, scalded by Augusta National, which is not something that happens very frequently. I think it's understandable that emotions are high over there right now. I mean, all the reporting is that the league is really, frankly, struggling for funding, and the future is very much uncertain. But I don't know that excuses like behaving like a moron on the golf course. I mean, that stuff is just not really in the spirit of what the sport is supposed to be, and I'm not sure why we need to act like this is something that is defensible or understandable, when the reality is for 126 years, we've had this golf tournament, and it's been hard, and golfers have been able to survive without having temper tantrums on the golf course. Like, I don't understand why this is such a new development.
James, couple things for you. One, more lighthearted, and looking through your Twitter account, I know you've got a unique lodging situation while you're covering the event this week, and a very unique dining situation as well. So what's the best meal that your Italian grandmother has made for you over the course of these last few days?
All right. We had spaghetti and meatballs on Friday night, and it was, Thursday and Friday at the U.S. Open is always kind of like the longest 2 or 3 days of the year, because play begins at 7 o'clock in the morning. Earlier than that, it was 6:30 this week, and it doesn't end until 9 o'clock at night. And so for both of those days, it's basically just wake up at dawn and get home well after dusk. And this week I've been staying with my grandma. She lives out here, like, fairly on the eastern end of Long Island. So it was reasonably close for me to stay, and I wanted to do it just so I could have some family time. And so, I got back after this absolute marathon day, and there was a hot plate of spaghetti and meatballs waiting for me when I got back. We call it sauce in my family. It was incredible. I've never been this spoiled in my entire life. I mean, here I am talking about the LIV players. I mean, I've basically been pampered all week from my grandma in this experience. But it's been a wonderful way to spend the U.S. Open. It's such a special time to be able to spend this week, particularly with family. Obviously, today's Father's Day. It's such a significant component of the history of this tournament. It's been a really special way to celebrate the fun.
James, before we let you go here, one of my favorite pieces that you've written was the one about your round that you played at Augusta, and it's fitting on this Father's Day, and I think it's worth rehashing, because it talks about the influence your grandfather and your father had on you and your interest in golf. So I just wanted to give you the floor here to kind of share some of the anecdotes from that story.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, every year Augusta National does an interesting tradition where they let certain members of the press play the golf course on the Monday after the Masters. And there's a big lottery, and the Augusta picks only a few winners every year. And a few years ago, I happened to win the lottery. I was given the opportunity to play the course. And, for me and for my upbringing and my life, like, the opportunity to play at Augusta National was like beyond something that I could have even fathomed. I mean, just attending that golf tournament one time in my life would have been the accomplishment of my life. And so when I had the opportunity to play, it was this like very strangely lonely feeling where I was thrilled at the outset. And then it sort of struck me in the moment that I have this incredible tradition of golf in my family, of my grandfathers on both sides, but especially on my mom's side, and with my father as well, who have been instrumental in pushing me toward the game and pushing me toward what I've accomplished in life. And as I was, realizing I was going to play this golf course, it struck me that it was my gift alone. It wasn't mine to share with anybody else's. And so I just wrote this story really talking about the family odyssey that have brought me to Augusta National, the people who sacrificed everything so that I could have the opportunity to earn a career as a golf writer and then move forward in my life to become someone who not only covered a Masters but got to play at Augusta National. I really tried to encompass all of that through my grandfather, who was the person who, had really pushed me to go to Syracuse with you, Tyler, which is, the origin of my appearances on this show. And it was, my opportunity to attend that university really came at the expense of extreme financial hardship on my family. And, it came on the premise that I was chasing a dream. And so I wrote about what it was like to see that dream come to fruition at Augusta National. And I would say to this day, it's the story I've written that I'm most proud of in my career. I received just a truly outrageous amount of correspondence from people about it. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity to talk about it, not because I got to do anything special. I mean, I think my round at Augusta National is about the least interesting thing in the world to share with anyone, but because it gives me the opportunity to talk about my family and about the people who really gave me everything that I have in this life.
Well, James, and I encourage anyone out there to check it out. He's got it pinned on his Twitter account, James Colgan 26 on Twitter, so you can check it out there. James, appreciate your time. Happy Father's Day to your father and the great Andy Colgan, and we'll be talking soon, all right? And enjoy the final round out of Shinnecock.
Happy Father's Day, guys. I think we're in for a good one today.
Yep, that's James Colgan, golf.com with us on the Jersey Mike's hotline. Jersey Mike's a sub above. All right, we will reset what's going on out on the golf course for today and what's setting up. Can anyone track down Wyndham Clark and his 6-stroke lead? That's all coming up next. The segment's been brought to you by Republic Bank.
This is the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1100.3 HD2 and the ESPN Chicago app.
Break away to Kohler, just 2 hours north of Chicago, host of 6 majors and the Ryder Cup. Play 72 holes of championship golf at Whistling Straits and Black Wolf Run and the Baths, a 10-hole par 3. Experience the Kohler Waters Spa and explore hundreds of acres of outdoors. 2026 golf packages with 2 to 5 night accommodations are available to book now. Book early for best rates and availability. Call 855-718-3588 and reserve your custom stay today.
Experience the best golf on the North Shore. Head over to Glenview Park Golf Club. Book your tee time 24/7 at golfglenview.com or call 847-724-0250. Golfglenview.com or 847-724-0250. Experience the best.
Experience top courses managed by Kemper Sports. From North Shore classics like the Glen Club, Deer Path, and Winnetka, west suburban favorites like Bolingbrook, Cantini, and Village Greens of Woodridge, and Southside gems like Harborside International. Kemper Sports offers something for everyone with impeccable course conditions and top-notch hospitality for over 45 years. Kemper Sports creates lasting memories. Did you know Kemper Sports was also recently awarded as a top places to work by Crain's Chicago? Visit KemperSports.com or follow Kemper Sports on social media. Golfers, go north to Wisconsin and experience the Club at Lac La Belle, voted a top 10 most fun golf course in the country by Golf Digest. The Club at Lac La Belle is now accepting tee times. Take advantage of same-day replay rates. The Club at Lac La Belle is at the heart of the Wisconsin Golf Trail, featuring a majestic, redesigned course and beautiful clubhouse. Schedule your tee time now at theclubatlaclabelle.com. A historic past meets a vibrant future. Go to theclubatlaclabelle.com to start your journey.
Play golf in Elgin. Check out the Golf Elgin app and book a tee time at the Highlands of Elgin or Bowes Creek Country Club. Enjoy exceptional playing conditions and afterward, perhaps a savory pork chop at the Grumpy Goat Tavern. A great place to continue your day of play. Check us out at highlandsofelgin.com or grumpygoattavern.net.
Hey, Chicagoland, it's time to tee up your next golf adventure with a trip to Tullymore Golf Resort, featuring 36 championship holes at 2 5-star rated golf courses. Spend more time on the course and less time in the car. Tullymore is just a quick 3.5-hour drive from the city. Enjoy an up-north golf experience without the drive at Tullymore Golf Resort. Experience a Michigan masterpiece. Start your trip with just a click at tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com.
You know, they call me the good kid, but I'm not here just to be good, and I'm definitely not here to be average. When it comes to performance, I want to feel confident, ready, and know I'm bringing it every single time. And that's exactly why Blue Chew just raised the bar with Blue Chew Gold. This is a 4-in-1 formula designed to work on both your body and your mind. You get 2 proven ingredients that support blood flow, plus apomorphine and oxytocin to enhance arousal, desire, and connection. That means you're not just physically ready, you're mentally dialed in too. It dissolves right under your tongue and can start working in as little as 15 minutes. Less waiting, less worrying, more confidence. Ladies, if you're listening, send your man the link. Help him bring home the gold and make him a trophy husband. Oh, we've got a special deal for all of our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code ESPN. That's promo code ESPN. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring.
Why does buying a car have to feel like Game 7 pressure? It doesn't. What's up, it's Jay Hood. At Advantage Toyota in River Oaks, it's simple. Real numbers, no mystery math, and a team that respects your time. Imagine that. Respect. Go see the crew at Advantage Toyota River Oaks. Toyota, let's go places.
In 1958, few imagined a young Joliet native and Air Force veteran like Brent Wadsworth would pioneer the nation's leader in world-class golf construction. Wadsworth Golf Construction was founded on his vision of leading with integrity, service, and quality, with over 1,000 golf courses built or renovated, including 110 in Illinois. Wadsworth Golf has left an indelible mark. Yet it's more than just construction. Wadsworth's philanthropy, embodied by Wadsworth Golf Charities Foundation, has donated over $12 million to nonprofits using golf to uplift children, veterans, and the underprivileged. Projects like Youth Links at Cantini, CDGA Sunshine Course, and newly renovated Canal Shores in Evanston have benefited. Wadsworth Golf proudly supports the CDGA and looks ahead to further collaboration in enhancing the golfing community. Explore their projects and foundation at wadsworthgolf.com.
Make the move to Republic Bank of Chicago. Avoid the hazards of subpar banking with our business checking accounts, each uniquely designed to get your business up and down. Republic Bank of Chicago. Banking beyond expectations.
Hey, Chicagoland, want to experience the best golf on the North Shore? Head over to Glenview Park Golf Club to enjoy superior golf course conditions, a challenging layout, and superior service. Conveniently located and easy to get to, Glenview Park is in the heart of Glenview. Book your tee time 24/7 at golfglenview.com or call 847-724-0250. Golfglenview.com or 847-724-0250. Experience the best.
When pain holds you back, you deserve expert care you can trust. At Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, our orthopedic specialists help people get back to moving comfortably. Whether you're dealing with joint pain, a sports injury, or an everyday ache that just won't go away. From diagnosis and treatment to physical therapy and recovery, IBJI offers comprehensive orthopedic care all under one roof and close to home. Visit IBJI.com for more information.
How's your golf game? Yeah, mine too, but more on that later. It's time for more golf talk on the CDGA Golf Show, your guide to golf around the world and in your neighborhood. The CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1000. Now here are your hosts, Mike Gilligan and Tyler Rocky.
This segment brought to you by PGA Tour Superstore. Visit any of our Chicagoland locations today. Tyler Rocky alongside Mike Gilligan and Casey Richards as we continue to keep our eye on the U.S. Open and everything taking place out there. A couple of names already making some moves today. We were talking a little bit earlier about Jackson Koiven and the round that he's put together. He probably should have had 4 straight birdies, but he lipped out a birdie putt just a moment ago. But he is already 3 under through 7. He's one of the new young up-and-comers, but he's inside the top 30 right now. He's having one of the best rounds of the day so far. We mentioned Peter Uihlein a little bit earlier in the show. He's 4 under through 16. But your leader right now, Wyndham Clark, at 7 under and with a 6-stroke lead. They just showed Scotty Scheffler arriving at the golf course as well. So Scotty's going to get off and running at 1:30 alongside Wyndham Clark as the leaders will tee off about 3 hours from now. So it'll be an interesting finish. I know Mike is pretty dead set. He thinks that Scotty Scheffler is going to walk this one down and complete the comeback this time around and complete the career Grand Slam as well.
I really do. And especially with Jackson showing that the course is gettable. As long as we're starting to see those kinds of numbers percolate down in the lower half of the leaderboard currently playing, that shows me that if it's available, Scotty's going to take advantage of it. I love the form that he finished in, and I don't like the form the way Wyndham finished. And, if Wyndham can pull this out, he will look back to Saturday, assuming Sunday is a regular walk in the park, shoots par, and wins this thing. I think he's going to go back to hole 15 yesterday, where he hit it in an absolute gunch and could barely see the ball, chunks it into the bunker, barely gets it out, and makes a putt that is so key, but turns around and eagles 16. And when he eagled 16, since the last time it was eagled, it was in a U.S. Open, it was 2018. There were 516 players. He was number 517 to finally complete that eagle. And as such, that thing looms large for him. And I think if he is able to pull it out, he's going to look to that 3-wood as the shot of his life.
Yeah, if we continue the comparison that James Colgan made, Wyndham Clark to Caleb Williams, that shot was the equivalent of, one of those back foot fading away throws that Caleb Williams can pull out. We'll see. I mean, obviously the start is going to be key. Yesterday Scotty finished strong, but he did bogey the first couple of holes and has otherwise played those 2 holes at even par over the course of the week. So, I think that if he is going to make a comeback, he's going to have to start strong, really kind of put the pressure on Wyndham, plant some of those seeds of doubt, so to speak, and go from there. So I think we'll know. You mentioned they tee off by 1:30. Honestly, I think we'll have a decent idea maybe by 2:30 of if it's something that, hey, we need to lock in for the next few hours here, or maybe check out the Cubs game, check out the soccer, see what else is going on. But
I think hole number 11, and James brought up hole number 11, and it is a dicey little hole.
Yeah.
And I think that if Wyndham can get through there unscathed and has a sizable lead, it's over. So to me, I'm going to check out hole number 11, and then it's whether or not do you stay tuned.
Yeah.
Or do you jump over to Cubs baseball?
Right. Yeah. It's going to be, I think you're right, Casey. I think we'll know pretty early whether or not this thing is going to be a photo finish, because obviously Scotty, we know, for as much as he struggled out of the gate yesterday, he could completely flip it on its head. And when he's had these chase downs, listen, you don't have the chase downs that Scotty has without a bit of a hot start. And you need to start hot. And if Scotty's just kind of holding serve and it's a par fest through the first 7 or 8 holes, then yeah, Wyndham's probably going to win this thing running away. But if Scotty can put a little bit of pressure on, and then all of a sudden Wyndham maybe starts giving back a stroke or 2 here or there, and it's because I don't know what the buzz is going to be like for a day like today out at Shinnecock. Like, we know that there's been this lack of fan, and we've got some audio too of Wyndham Clark talking about the lack of fans that we can play here in a second. But like, if there's no wind underneath the sails of Scotty, I wonder if that's going to like help propel him at all. I don't know if it will. He seems like someone who can really run with the crowd, and I don't know if he's going to get that today.
Yeah, I think all those athletes are that way. I mean, obviously when the crowd's into it, you're into it, the juices are going, you're firing on all cylinders. If there isn't anybody to play for and nobody's there and the enthusiasm just isn't there, there's something missing. And that's, I guess, what I meant by the question back to James about, does this better play into Wyndham's hands just from a crowd perspective? And I think it does. But if he can get a staunch army of followers that can be loud and boisterous and start following that pack, who knows? But to get that momentum going, the golf course is going to have to perform, but so is Scotty. Scotty's got to get off to a good, solid, quick start.
You mentioned one of Scotty's comebacks this year being, I think it was at the RBC Heritage, where he caught Matt Fitzpatrick and went into a playoff with him. The crowd dynamics there were very interesting because you had, the American fan favorite versus the, the European guy in Fitzpatrick. Obviously Clark is American, but, we've talked about, based on some of his behavior in the past, about how he isn't exactly one of the most, enjoyed players on tour by your average golf fan. And obviously Scotty is Scotty. So, whatever crowd there is going to be, I suspect that they'll be staunchly, pro Scotty in terms of the two of them playing together.
Yeah. This was Wyndham Clark yesterday talking about the lack of fans that we've seen over the course of the first 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of unfortunate that we're finishing in the dark and that people weren't really out there, because there were some obviously key big moments, and it did kind of get a little flat. So, yeah, unfortunately, hopefully tomorrow there's a bunch of fans and stuff, but for me, it's still really important, and I still felt the moment. It's just maybe unfortunate that there weren't all the people there.
What's kind of reminded me of is I remember you and I sitting in here, it was probably, a month ago now, and the Cadillac Championship was on down in Miami, and they were going head-to-head with F1.
Yeah,
and it was this was supposed to be the big return for the PGA Tour back to Miami, and all of a sudden there was nobody there. It looked like you were watching a practice round or something like that. And that's kind of what when you compare them side by side and like the events that they are, and you grade it on the curve there, it's kind of felt the same way for this event too. You would have thought that this thing, Father's Day weekend, there'd be a ton of people out there, but it's a pain to get to, and you deal with the traffic there. You can take the LIRR, but it's still like not the easiest place in the world to get to, and it's certainly showing that right now.
And you also have, the dynamic of kind of the Knicks having just won, and everything that went into that in terms of people probably going to the parade, going to some of the games. So, yeah, I mean, kind of similar to what you were saying in the Miami situation of there being sort of competitive sports elsewhere. Maybe that kind of has a little bit of a role.
I mean, it costs what, like $10,000 to get into those Knicks games? Right. You may have spent all your money there, and you're not going to the U.S. Open as a result of that.
Yeah, but honestly, I do think it has a lot to do with the USGA being very intentional about how they set the golf course up with the amount of grandstands, and there's really less. And I think that was by design based on what happened at Bethpage. I think the build out was so tremendous, so corporate, so much happening outside the ropes that it really affected what happened inside the ropes. And I think the 250 anniversary of our country, they're taking this to Shinnecock, the first golf course in America. I think they really wanted to make it keep it simple, kind of more simplistic look, if you will, less frills. And I think they're going to get a little bit different type of behavior. But the one thing, you can't take the boy out of the country, because New Yorkers will still be New Yorkers. And if there's a quiet moment and they want to send a message to Wyndham, maybe about a locker, maybe about something that happened in the past, he's going to hear it.
Yeah.
He is going to hear it, and he's going to hear it loud and clear.
Yeah, to your point, Mike, it really does seem like, out of all, the majors, the U.S. Open really does seem to take the most pride in providing a good fan experience, generating revenue from the event, but making sure that the competition and the golf course come first and foremost. The only U.S. Open that I've attended personally was at 2017 in Erin Hills, as we mentioned earlier with Xander. And I remember coming away sort of impressed by how, not kind of jam-packed and crowded it felt like in comparison to a couple of the PGA championships that I've been to. And to your point, I think that's by design. I think, they want it to be a positive fan experience from the standpoint of getting around the course, from the standpoint of being able to access, concessions, restrooms, whatever it may be. Now, I think this is taken a little bit to the extreme, again, given some of the complexities that we've talked about. But I guess it's not totally out of left field to say, the U.S. Open may be a little less of a boisterous, crowd. But I do think that some of that is by design.
Yeah. All right. So as we look at the field, what we've got on tap for today, Wyndham Clark with a 6-stroke lead over Scotty Scheffler, Sahith Theegala, Tom Kim, and Sam Stevens. Mike, you've given out the pick. You think Scotty tracks him down. You can get about 6-1 odds on that right now. And just looking at some of the top dogs today, who do you think maybe doesn't win this thing but puts on a little bit of a show today too?
Well, I'll tell you, a guy that I'm actually going to have a keen interest in watching today is Dustin Johnson. Because if he shoots another good round today, and he would have just shot a round of par on Friday, he'd be in second place all by himself right now. He'd be in the final group. So I'm just curious as a guy like that, just because, you know, I've been a DJ fan. It's just been interesting to watch the ups and downs of his world on Live. But he's starting to come back into some form.
Yeah.
But, I definitely will keep an eye on him. But, yeah, I mean, Scotty's my pick. I think it's going to be a two-man deal. I think he'll come back a little bit. Scotty will go up. I think the rest of the crew is going to stay back, and it's just going to be somewhat of a match play on the back nine. That's what I'm hoping for, because it'd be great TV to watch.
Yeah, to your point about DJ too, you know, he had missed from a stretch of 2024 into 2025. He had missed 4 of 5 cuts at majors, which is obviously really the only place people see him play because of his ties to Live. But now he's made 4 straight cuts at the majors, and he's sneaky started to play much better at a lot of these events. It used to be bad Thursday for DJ. He's just going to get on the jet and go home Friday night. And you kind of knew right away. He hasn't gotten on the jet on Friday nights lately. He's been out there for all 4 rounds, and he had himself, I mean, he missed a putt, a bogey putt. It turned into a disastrous hole for him, and it was probably like a 3-foot putt. And it felt like, okay, maybe this is sort of the demise, but he's bounced back nicely.
Yeah, the other 2 guys, Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy was the guy I was going to go with.
Alex Fitzpatrick, just because I'm just admiring this guy's ascension in his career. This guy could be playing in Bangladesh today if he doesn't do what he did. And it's just amazing to watch this guy breed the kind of confidence. And now he's making cuts at the U.S. Open. And, you know, he's playing as good as his brother right now. And it's fun to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's 2 over, 1 over par, Matt. So it'd be interesting to go back and look through the record books to see any time there have been brothers that have posted, you know, simultaneous such strong U.S. Open finishes. I can't imagine there have been, you know, very many. So, yeah, that was one storyline, you know, that I was going to kind of spotlight as something, you know, interesting to watch down the stretch. I kind of like that second to last group as well. You know, we talked about, you know, Tom Kim obviously can be a very electric player. You know, again, has had a down few years, but we've seen him excel at the highest levels. And then, you know, Sahith Theegala performed well over the course of the week, ball striking it very well, also a very talented player. That would just be so sports and so golf if we're coming in thinking it's Wyndham or Scotty, it's Wyndham or Scotty, and then here's these guys just kind of lurking and they make a claim on it. So yeah, we'll see. It should be good. You know, Sam Stevens, another guy that I don't think we've mentioned at all today. He's also in that group at, you know, 1 under par. You know, very talented player, has performed well in the majors. So, you know, there will be plenty to watch. You know, just again, looking at the leaderboard, Keith Mitchell, he's tied for 6th at even par. Kind of the viral sensation of the first round, given his, you know, crazy, you know, juxtaposition of the front 9 and the back 9 and the screenshots that people got of him afterwards. Yeah. So, yeah, good event so far, and hopefully a good finish today.
Yeah, and another name we haven't really talked much about either, but he looked like he had a chance to maybe win this thing out of the gate, was Xander Schauffele, and then just kind of falls apart holes 7 through 13 on Thursday. But then Xander bounced back on Friday with one of the best rounds we've seen all tournament with a 66. So maybe Xander makes a little bit of noise here. He's 7 strokes back, but he's even. He's just 1 stroke back of that big group that is currently tied for 2nd. So
yeah, and if you look at his odds, he's the 3rd favorite at this point too, behind Clark and Scotty. So even though he's got more ground to make up and he's teeing off way earlier, you know, those in the know, so to speak, think he has a decent shot.
All right, when we come back, we will go around the CDGA. This segment's been brought to you by PGA Tour Superstore.
With Republic Bank of Chicago, you don't have to scramble to keep your business growing. Our commercial lending options will move your business from tee to green every time. Republic Bank of Chicago, banking beyond expectations.
Golf with the legends at Destination Geneva National in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Enjoy 54 holes designed by Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, and Lee Trevino. Stay right on the course in luxurious suites, group cottages, or the newly renovated and reimagined Lakeview rooms at the Lodge. Between rounds, savor on-site dining at the Hunt Club Steakhouse, Craft at Italia, and Turf Kitchen and Tap. Or unwind at Paloma Cantina, overlooking the dance floor, the entertainment-style putting course. Visit DestinationGN.com for details on Wisconsin's closest multi-course golf resort to the greater Chicagoland area.
Come to Cog Hill Golf and Country Club and experience truly legendary golf. Since 1927, Cog Hill has been the mecca for public golf in the Midwest. In addition to Dub's Dread, ranked the #1 course you can play in Illinois by Golf Digest, Cog Hill offers 3 other beautiful 18-hole layouts with price points for all types of golfers. Visit their state-of-the-art practice facility with top tracer technology on 42 driving range bays. Plus, they have 2 golf shops, a new club fitting room, and beautiful clubhouse and reception area. They serve great food, too. Visit coghillgolf.com.
Village Links of Glen Ellen provides a country club experience at a public golf facility in Glen Ellen. With a top-rated 27-hole complex that's proudly hosted 48 PGA Tour and USGA qualifying events, Village Links is considered one of the premier golf courses in the Chicago area. Conveniently located near I-88 and 355. After your round, dine on the spectacular patio at Reserve 22 Restaurant, Bar, and Banquets, overlooking the pristine 18th green. Go to villagelinksgolf.com and get ready for a great round. See you at the links.
Play their gear, dress the part, and shop like the pros at the PGA Tour Superstore. Now's the time to upgrade your game with new apparel and footwear to keep you looking fresh, and the hottest clubs from all your favorite brands. Plus, dial in your game with the latest technology like rangefinders and launch monitors. Shop with the pros at one of PGA Tour Superstore's 5 Chicagoland locations: Downers Grove, Schaumburg, Orland Park, Vernon Hills, and Lincoln Park.
Experience the best golf on the North Shore. Head over to Glenview Park Golf Club. Book your tee time 24/7 at golfglenview.com or call 847-724-0250. golfglenview.com or 847-724-0250. Experience the best.
You know they call me the good kid, but I'm not here just to be good, and I'm definitely not here to be average. When it comes to performance, I want to feel confident, ready, and know I'm bringing it every single time. And that's exactly why Blue Chew just raised the bar with Blue Chew Gold. This is a 4-in-1 formula designed to work on both your body and your mind. You get 2 proven ingredients that support blood flow, plus apomorphine and oxytocin to enhance arousal, desire, and connection. That means you're not just physically ready, you're mentally dialed in too. It dissolves right under your tongue and can start working in as little as 15 minutes. Less waiting, less worrying, more confidence. Ladies, if you're listening, send your man the link. Help him bring home the gold and make him a trophy husband. Oh, we've got a special deal for all of our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code ESPN. That's promo code ESPN. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring.
Hey guys, it's Sylvie. I went to Bullfrog Spa and I bought my first hot tub. I'm really impressed. My friends over there showed me the jetpack therapy system, and I love that you can customize your massage. If you're thinking about upgrading your space, you should check them out. Visit a Bullfrog Spa's factory store or go to bullfrogspas.com.
Chicagoland's own Tour Edge Golf introduces the all-new Exotics Iron lineup. Precision built for every player type and every scoring situation. The Exotics MB is a true muscle back, delivering ultimate shot control and a pure forged feel preferred by elite ball strikers. The Exotics CB blends a classic forged feel with modern forgiveness and consistent distance control. The Exotics Max delivers explosive distance with high MOI stability and effortless launch. 3 distinct iron designs, delivering performance above all else. Learn more about the new Exotics series at touredge.com.
Voted a 5-star course by Chicagoland Golf Magazine, Fox Bend Golf Course has hosted 3 Illinois Opens. This 6,900-yard par 72 gem appeals to all levels of play. Conveniently located just 45 minutes from downtown in the western suburbs. To book a tee time, visit foxbendgolfcourse.com. Check out the new clubhouse at Wing Park Golf Course in Elgin. Brand new this summer with new Chip Shots whiskey bar ready to serve food and drink. It is a great place to eat, play, and repeat. Check it out at wingparkgolf.com.
Who is it? Postman Law, your injury and accident attorneys. Everybody's giving you less for more, not us. More fight for accident victims. No fee unless we win. Postman Law. We deliver. PostmanLaw.com. Attorney advertising.
At Great Clips, they use clip notes to save your haircut details. So no matter which stylist you see or Great Clips salon you visit, it's easy to feel like the best version of you. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Welcome into the CDGA Golf Show on ESPN 1000. Presented by Glenview Park Golf Club. Here's your hosts, Mike Gilligan and Tyler Rocky.
Wrapping things up here on the CDGA Golf Show. This segment brought to you by Cog Hill Golf and Country Club, a pure golf experience. As this point of the show, every single week we go around the CDGA. And some of you may be listening right now and saying, hey, why is the show on Sunday this week? This is a one-off. We'll be back on Saturday next week. Had to accommodate for White Sox baseball yesterday. And it worked out because we were able to preview the final round of this U.S. Open. But Mike and Casey, what do we have going on around the CDGA this week?
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. I'll start with this one because it's the most time sensitive. You got about an hour and 5 minutes to put your final bids in as part of the CDGA Foundation online auction. All sorts of fantastic local golf trips, sports tickets, sports memorabilia up for grabs. There's a round for 3 at Shore Acres that is on there, Rich Harvest Farms, Lakeshore Country Club, scout seat tickets at the White Sox games, club level access at the Bears games. All sorts of different other kind of one-off autographed memorabilia. So if you haven't yet, check it out. You can go to cdga.org, and there's a link to it on the homepage. Bidding does close at noon today, however. So last chance to get your bids in there. All the funds support the CDGA Sunshine programs, all the great work we do with individuals with disabilities, veterans, and youth. Quick trivia question for you guys. What's the last Chicago area course not named Medina or Olympia Fields to host a U.S. Open? And you have to go back a ways.
Is it Glenview Club?
Close. Same vicinity. In the town you grew up in.
Is it
North Shore?
Is it North Shore?
North Shore Country Club.
That's
1933, won by Johnny Goodman. The last time
Goodman.
an amateur has won the U.S. Open. So the CDGA is going to be there next week. We'll be conducting the 106th CDGA Amateur Championship at North Shore, Monday through Thursday. Our oldest event, first one was won by Chick Evans way back in 1914. And, really kind of a grueling championship. They play 36 holes on Monday of stroke play. The low 16 advance to match play. So then there's the round of 16, the quarterfinals, and the semifinals, and then the championship match on Thursday is going to be 36 holes. So you're looking at about 7 rounds of golf over the course of 4 days if you want to claim that victory. But great site for the event. Really excited to spend some time out at North Shore. And, it's all open to the public. So if you happen to be in the area and want to come out and watch some fantastic amateur golf, that's where we'll be posted up next week. And then also next Thursday, I know we've got the big kind of relaunch of our series with the Chicago Police Department. Mike, if you want to fill us in on that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be at Columbus Park, marrying up a lot of the best police officers that Superintendent Snelling has that love and adore golf and kids. They'll be out at Columbus Park at 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock with all kinds of golf programming, things to do, games to interact. And if you have a son or a daughter who is in the area of Columbus Park on that west side, Oak Park area, come on out and just tell them you heard it here on the radio, and we'll sign you up and have you enjoy the event. It's free. The kids will walk away with a T-shirt, a nice lunch, complimentary at Jersey Mike's, and a whale of a good time. This is the first of 3. We'll have one in July and another one on August 4th, which is considered National Nights Out for the police. And one interesting side note on North Shore, my wife grew up on North Shore, and when I was dating her, we would go to her backyard, throw my clubs over the fence, climb it on Mondays, and walk around, and that was our date. I'd play golf, and she'd just walk with me as the sun would set at North Shore, and then we'd toss the clubs back over.
There you go. Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah. Don't do it. So Dan, don't
the
tell
statute of
superintendent.
limitations, I think, is maybe expired at this point.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks to Jake Littman for producing today's show. The segment's been brought to you by Cog Hill Golf and Country Club. We'll be back with you next Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. right here on ESPN Chicago.
Fox Bend Golf Course.
CDGA Golf.
Voted a 5-star course by Chicagoland Golf Magazine. Come to Oswego Land, only 45 minutes from downtown, and play some of the most